Hey guys, and welcome to another one of my #1 Sentai Gozyuger episode commentating reviews. This time it's episode 23, The Lonely Star, Awakened Wolf. And remember, if you do enjoy what you see, please remember to like and subscribe. It just means a lot on a small channel like this. Anyway, let's get into the episode. The episode opens where last week left off as Fire Candle attacks, again beating back all the Gozyugers, before he's racked with pain, as an Orca call can be heard before he retreats into a circle in the ceiling. As the Rangers power down, and Rikuo simply walks off without a word as we go to the opening credits. Back at the Taiga Village Cafe, the Rangers question what's up with Rikuo, but Kamade says more important is the Orca Booster, a gun that can amplify any ringed warrior's powers, but if it's not compatible, it will turn them into a berserk monster, as we see Fire Candle stumbling around the palace and throwing Bouquet aside before shooting up the throne room. Kamade says many lives were lost because of it in the last Ring War, and it had been locked away deep under the sea, but it must have been freed by Fire Candle's lust for power, and now they need to get it back and lock it away for good. Back in the No.1 world, Mr. Shining Knife and Mr. Sweetcake have locked the Orca Booster in a cage, as Bouquet tends to a tied-up Fire Candle. As Queen Taiga June is impressed by Fire Candle's lust for power, and as she reads the ring's history, she creates a soldier from its memory, Juzo Fuwa. Elsewhere, Kamade has dressed Kinjiro up as a seal to attract the Orca Booster, but as Samino says it won't work, she adds a bow, saying the Orca's likely male and probably would prefer a girl. And Herrero says the Orca is the wolf of the sea, and he encourages Kinjiro to howl. This is actually heard by the Orca Booster, which proceeds to smash apart its cage, before shooting the ropes tying up Fire Candle, who regains consciousness and, grabbing the Orca Booster, runs off as Bouquet calls for him not to go. Rikuo has met up with Rei again, saying he needs to let Otto go, but Rei's saying she's too valuable, and if he can figure out how the ring woke her up, he can save his own life that Rikuo took, as he tells Rikuo to save him. Back with the other Rangers, Kinjiro gives up on the howling, as Herrero starts sniffing, and they notice that Fire Candle has appeared, accompanied by Juzo. He transforms into the powered-up Shinken Red form, and the Gozyugers transform as well, and the fight begins. But unseen, Mr. Shining Knife and Mr. Sweetcake have arrived with some Bridons, figuring that Fire Candle won't calm down until Goju Wolf is defeated, and they join the fight to help him. Rikuo is watching the fighting as he thinks of the earlier conversation with Rei, before he transforms and attacks Goju Wolf. And when asked what he's doing, he reminds Herrero that they started off as enemies, and he's going to take the Shinkenja ring, attacking Fire Candle and Goju Wolf. But as the three fight, Fire Candle goes to use the Orca Booster, but is racked with pain, before turning into a fiery Shinkenja monster. The three continue fighting, but Fire Candle is now so much stronger, and as Rikuo says he has to make amends, he rushes Fire Candle, but is beaten back so hard he's forced to power down. And as Goju Polar exits the building, still fighting Juzo, he calls on Bear Kuma, who shoots the Orca Blaster out of Fire Candle's hands before Goju Polar's attacked from behind, and he also powers down from the amount of damage he's taken. Herrero rushes for the gun and grabs it just before Fire Candle can reach it, and telling the stupid fish to give him its powers, as Kamade calls out not to use it. Firing into the air, Herrero's racked with pain as a new ring appears. And, as Herrero engages, he gets his wild power up. And taking on both Fire Candle and Juzo, it surprises Kamade that the two are in sync. As Rikuo asks why Herrero would risk so much to save him, Herrero asks him what he's fighting for. He could never stand him, but he did think it was awesome how many people he would make happy. As Rikuo remembers his wish is to be the #1 idol, as he stands and engages, joining Goju Wolf and thanking him for snapping him out of it, as the two separate, and Goju Wolf uses his new powers to defeat the monster as Goju Leon fights Fire Candle, who ends up growing to a giant size as Mr. Shining Knife and Sweet Cake retreat, followed by the Bridens. Herrero says he will finish this as he howls and calls on Orca Booster 50/50 and Tiger Sword, and as the two combine to form the heavily armoured form of Tiger Sword Blood Moon Rising. The two titans cross swords until Tiger Sword overpowers Fire Candle and performs Blood Moon Finish, sending Fire Candle flying into a building, and Herrero gains the 4 rings Fire Candle had been using. Elsewhere, Bouquet is with Fire Candle and relieves he's okay, but having regained his senses, he apologises to Bouquet for hitting her and demands she hits him to make it right, receiving a punch to the gut that leaves him floored. Back at the key, Herrero and Kamade talk to Rikuo and come up with a plan before everyone's back at the Tiger Sword village, saying Rikuo's betrayal was actually a ploy to capture the Orca Booster. And as the team accept the story, Samino demands a better apology, with Kamade saying there's a luxury all-paid vacation, and elsewhere, Ray is saying he will capture Infinity as he looks at a ring with only stars on it as the episode ends. Okay, so we've learned some stuff this episode. Obviously, Orca Booster was around in the previous Ring War, but you know, no one thought to mention it at all because you know, it's too powerful. It made loads of people get killed, and it was locked away deep beneath the sea. Yet it was able to free itself just because it sensed Fire Candle's overwhelming lust for power. Maybe they need like a better way of locking things away. But, you know, it affected everyone else because they weren't compatible. And surprise, surprise, Herrero, or the current or second gen Goju Wolf, is compatible. Which, not being funny, but as soon as Herrero said, oh yeah, like, I've heard the orcas, the wolves of the sea, I'm like, yeah, you're going to be the compatible one, aren't you? You're going to get the power up. Which he did. Also, pretty cool that when Fire Candle transformed before that last fight, he went straight into the powered up Shinkenger. But also, because I think I've said also a couple of times already, the rings have memories. The rings remember the fights from the actual Sentai. So the monster that came out, I think it was Juzo, something like that. I've seen Shinkenger. I just don't remember much of that particular guy. I mean, I remember him, but didn't really leave much of an impact for me. It was a good season, but it was sort of meh. But yeah, so the rings have memories. So stored inside the rings are the memories of all the monsters. So does that mean if Queen Taegajun got her hands on, say, the Red Tyranno ring, the Zyuranger one, she could make Grifforza appear to fight the Gojugers? Because that would be damn cool. Obviously, last time we saw Grifforza was, I think, the Go Busters movie with Abaranger, Zyuranger, Go Busters, and Kyoryuger, I think it was. And we had Neo Grifforza, or something like that. So, it's been quite a while since we've seen a version of Grafforza, so that could be cool. Although, considering like Ranger was like an earlier one and Hero's already got that, I doubt that's going to happen. But speaking of, he got 4 new rings from beating Fire Candle. So not only was it Fire Candle's Shinken Red ring, but it also would have been Red Buster. Was it 5-man or Flashman that he had? So, but also it would have been Bouquet's ring as well. So, yeah, it's not just his rings that he's lost Bouquet's ring as well. And I love Bouquet and Fire Candle together. I mean, when he gets like zapped and falls down, he gets the lap pillow treatment as he lands from Bouquet. And he seems to stay there until he gets woken up by Orca Booster later on. But then also, once he's beaten, she's the one that goes to him. And she's so forgiving, even when he's like, oh, I was terrible, you know, it's unforgiving. I have to apologise to you, you know, I never should have hit you, I was blind. All the rest of it, drunk on, like, my lust for power and all that. I mean, he has come to accept that he was so in the wrong. He's there, he's, what's the term, kowtowing to Bouquet, he's like, bowing down all the rest of it, begging. And he says, you know, you need to punch me to make it right. And he's like, yeah, come on, just right here, right here. And she's just like, bang, right in the... I mean, I felt that. I felt that. And he just drops. Oh, I love those two. I swear, those two could run the season for all I care. The Gozyugers... I mean, it's mostly about Red. It's mostly about Herero. The others don't really seem to get much. I mean, Ryuji gets next to nothing. Kinjiro doesn't really get much. Samino, okay, we've got the thing about her sister, but she's got the mind reading powers and she's used that twice. I can't even remember what Rikuo's special power was. Because obviously Hero's got the smell, which we've seen a few times. Oh, Rikuo's was the hearing, which I think we've seen once or twice. Hers was the mind reading. Ryuji's got the super strength, and Kinjiro's got super sight, which I don't think is. I think might have been used once or twice. You know, they're so-called special power-ups. They never use. Well, except for Herrera going, oh, I can smell something. Oh, it's over there. It's, yeah. So, yeah, the Gozyugers are just, they're like vanilla. And Hero's maybe Madagascan vanilla. He's like vanilla with a little bit extra flavour. Whereas Fire Candle and Bouquet, they're the sprinkles. They're like a bit of chocolate added in. Or strawberry or whatever your favourite flavour is. They're the ones that seem to be keeping people in. I did ask on Reddit if people are losing interest in the series. Because things really don't seem to be going. And a lot of people have said that, you know, it's not that great. Some people have admitted they've stopped watching. And they don't know if they're going to come back to it. Other people are saying, yeah, they're kind of watching. But most people have actually said that Fire Candle is their favourite. I completely understand that. Because Fire Candle so far has been the most entertaining. He's had his grudge with Goju Wolf. You had the episode where Herero went off and went into that cafe. And they literally had, like, the server fights before fighting some more. And he's just built this grudge. And I love it. It's so damn good. So I really hope we're not going to be losing that now that he's been beaten. So obviously we're coming up to the halfway point. I really hope we're not going to lose this fire candle dynamic that we've got going. Even if it changes, because it has to change. But I don't want to lose it. As for Rikuo's like episode and a bit of, oh, I'm going to fight these guys now because of Ray, and then having a change of heart and be like, oh well, I'm going to make it up to Samina and that lot. I'm going to take on Ray now. We've got so many subplots going on. Are we even meant to care anymore? Like I said, I mean, I'm enjoying the show as a whole, but we're jumping back and forth between so many plots, and some of these are just going on and on and on for ages. You know, please, writers, I mean, not that any of them are going to be watching this or hearing anything from me, but please just consolidate it. Give us a plot that's actually going to move forward and not jumping around all over the goddamn place. I want a show that I can just sink my teeth into, enjoy the fights, enjoy the mecha, which... Oh yeah, that's another thing. I actually looked up, like, this Orca Booster. Like, new thing. This new Orca Booster, 50/50. So you can get it with a limited Sentai ring, which, yeah, I guess. But even without the ring, you're looking at, and bear in mind this is UK prices, £85. Between 85 and £125 for the Orca Booster. So we're talking, bear in mind, that is Taiga Red right there. So I've got the Taiga Sword, I've got the main piece. Orca Booster is some armour, a back ring, and a new faceplate, new face ring. 80, it's going to, if I was to get that, it would cost me more than that did. That is the main Zord. You know, it's not like, I mean, using that as an example, get the Megazord or Daijujin or whatever, and then pay that and more for the Dragon Sword just because it goes over the top. You know, you'd get Ryuseo and the Thunder and the other Heavenly Beasts. And then, obviously, the Kiba, White Kiba thing, or using the Power Ranger names because I know them better. It's been too long since I've seen that far into Die Ranger, but I am reviewing Die Ranger now. First one will be up later this week. You know, you don't get the Thunder Assault team and Red Dragon for like, I don't know, 40, 50 quid or whatever it was, and then pay 75 for the Tiger Zord. It would have been the same price or less. Even though, okay, that did have electronics and the rest of them didn't. But... or Shogun Megazord. And then paying the same again or more for the Falcon, which came separately. This is what they did. And like I say, £125. Not that it'll focus on me, but, you know. Or even the cheapest was like 83.44, which he doesn't want to focus on, but the way they've gone about the merch this season, no. I mean, King Oja was fine. You had a big combining mecha. And I got mine, the 11 pack, so I got God Kabuto. I then bought the God Hopper and the Scorpion. I can't remember the Scorpion's name. as like two separate things. And then of course you've got God Tarantula, God Caucasus, and then of course you've got the other little individual ones. Which, okay, you need all 20 of them to make the big one. And I'm not getting Caucasus because that is a big one. That'd be like the equivalent of Titanus or King Brachion. I'd accept for something big, a Carrier Zord, to pay more. And yeah, King Caucasus is out of my price range. So I might get Tarantula someday to stick on the back of him. But that'll be as far as I go. I love King Oja, but also space. Space is at a premium. This is all the storage space I got. So some things may end up getting boxed at some point if and when I get more. But I love it all. So it's going to be a hard choice, but yeah, just the way they're doing it. I mean, that was like, 60, 70 quid. They want another 50 for the blue and yellow. They want another 50 odd for green and black. They want another 50 just for the Wolf de Caliber. And now they want another 100, averaging out somewhere in the middle, another 100 for the Orca Booster. I'm sorry, no. The mecha is one of the things I love most about Sentai. This season, no. As much as I love Sentai, I love the mecha, and I don't regret getting Tiger Sword. But the way they've done it this year, no. And even last year's Boom Boomja, which hopefully I'll get. It's my birthday in a few months. I might be able to talk the wife into getting me that. I wasn't overly keen on it because we lost the posability that we've had from the last few seasons. But yeah, even that, you've got the way you do it. It's a combiner. You've got like the three that came together. So it's, even though it's three, it's still a combiner. And then you've got the option of the different modes. Tiger Sword, there's no combining except plugging a ring in. Anything that combines, extra. So, yeah. Anyway, I've come off topic. I've said about Rikuo. I mean, the fact that he just walked off after attacking them at the start and no one thought to stop it, and they just go back to base and be like, yeah, he's a bit off now, isn't he? He's like, no, can't worry about that. We got to worry about the Orca Booster. Get onto the plot of the episode and forget about any overarching plots because they're not important. They could have fought him. We could have had an extra fight. I mean, it's not like there's much story going on. So, yeah, I think Gozyuger's... I don't want to say it's struggling, but I'm bearing in mind this is an anniversary series as well. It's missing something. There's something key to this series. And we're at episode 23. We're almost halfway. And even at this point, it's missing something. I can't put my finger on what it is. But hopefully, whatever it is, we'll get it. Hopefully, the writing will improve. The plots will come together and just become some sort of cohesive thread. But, yeah. Anyway, keep an eye out because later this week I will be dropping the first of my Die Ranger episode commentary and reviews. It'll be in the same format as the Jew Ranger ones have been for the last year. And that will then continue for the next year. And then I'll probably do Kaka Ranger year after, which, if you're paying attention, first episode that popped up last week because, hey, I'll still do my 50th anniversary stuff. Which a few more might pop up from time to time over the rest of the year. But, yeah. More and more stuff's piling up. So, I'm just trying to focus on getting these out at the moment. But anyway, enough of that. I need to get editing. So I'll see you guys next week.